When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost, oh, I will take your hand and we'll rise up from the dust. Oh, here we go, 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 let us heal and grow. You won't be alone, we're unstoppable. Don't be afraid to show what we're going for. This is what we know. Here we come back to life, we're still breathing, standing up.
And here we go, getting it right into the first one. It is going to be Haunted Seas. The Wi-Fi button flickers are going with a 322 comp. And on the opposite side, Lagdom is lining up with a 313 comp. All right, represented in green, we have the Wi-Fi button flickers as they position themselves heading for a Bravo Charlie strategy. On the opposite side, we have Lagdom running a 313 comp, and they are positioning for an Alpha Charlie comp, or a strategy, excuse me. As we ride on board with Chevo, he is approaching the C cap. He most likely is going to be one of the first to make initial contact here. RC entering the cap as well. C is now the contested cap. A and B have both been taken by the respective team sides. Argo's Donskoy has entered the cap, allowing the Wi-Fi button flickers to take advantage. Early on, Duzzy's Iowa has taken some chip damage. Looks like they may have caught him broadside. And the Jutlin for the side of Lagdom has maneuvered his way in spotting position towards the B cap. Riding on board with the Jutlin, he is going to launch torps towards the BB line of Wi-Fi button flickers. As both sides are starting to focus down each other, Musashi seems to be the first target for the side of Lagdom. And on the side of the Wi-Fi button flickers, Duzzy has taken a handful of torps and is forced to use a damage control kit. Musashi still the target. Shots raining down. They are pretty ineffective. Only a couple chip damage shells. Chevo's forced to smoke in the C cap. And the Donskoy for Lagdom and the Musashi are both entering towards the C cap to support the Z46. Musashi still the target. Argo being focused down. Shells fall short from the Musashi. The enemy Donskoy getting some chip damage onto him. The Jutlin for the side of Lagdom launching more torps. Duzzy's going to pick a couple of these up. Looks like 3 and gets heavily chunked out. Heavily chunked out by the Iowa on the side of Lagdom. Duzzy returns fire onto the Missouri, knocking out his steering. And Duzzy's super low. He might be the first one to go down. Musashi on the side of Lagdom is also very, very low. Musashi starting to turn out and retreat. Focus onto him. He's very low. He loses his steering as he returns shells into Artemis's Kronstadt. He has a sliver of health. Duzzy still holding on. Schiller goes down in an unexpected turn of events as Wi-Fi button flickers are now losing the B cap. It is 3 minutes, 5 seconds remaining. Artemis picks up Triple G, and the ship count is 6-6 with Lagdom picking up the Bravo cap. They now have a 1 cap advantage. The focus is now onto the Missouri for the side of Wi-Fi button flickers. Missouri heading straight into these torps. Let's see if they land. And he does manage to peel off while Artemis is taken down by the Donskoy on the side of Lagdom. It is now 6 ships versus 5 in favor of Lagdom. Lagdom also have the 1 cap advantage. Iowa being focused. Duzzy's going down. It is now 6-4. Edvin charging forward, laying shots down. Missouri loses a turret and takes some critical damage. Edvin needs to be careful here as he is in the middle of 5 enemy ships that can fire upon him. He's going to take 1 torp. And the focus is now onto the Iowa. On the opposite side, Missouri still very low, as Argo is forced to retreat and give up the C-cap. C-cap now goes over to Lagdom, who now have a 3 cap advantage. 1 minute, 28 seconds remaining. Fire is focused down into the Iowa for the side of Wi-Fi button flickers. As we go on board the Jutland, who takes some heavy damage here and looks to be going down, and he does. Edvin picks that kill up, and the Black Queen picks up the Iowa for the side of Lagdom. It is now 3 ships versus 5. 1 minute remaining in the game, and this one appears to be in complete control for Lagdom. Lagdom's Iowa, Valifor, taken very low and is retreating back into the Alpha cap. He is going to be going down, but not before Edvin gets taken down for the side of Wi-Fi button flickers. Argo picks up the kill on Valifor. It is now 4-2. 35 seconds remaining. This one is not in doubt. This one will be going over to Lagdom. RC and Argo on the retreat. Argo gets taken down. Black Queen picks up that kill. It's now 4-1. 20 seconds remaining. And that will be the end of game number 1, as Lagdom goes up in the series 1-0. And with that, the Missouri for Lagdom has picked up MVP honors. Here are the damage calculations for game number 1. At this point, Wi-Fi button flickers, if they want to see their tournament journey continue, they need to win the next 2. If Lagdom can pick up 1 out of the next 2, they will advance to the elimination finals. Looks like the next map is going to be Sea of Fortune. Let's see if there are going to be any significant changes for the side of Wi-Fi button flickers. Does not appear to be. They will still be rocking their 3-2-2. For the side of Lagdom, they are requesting to swap sides, which is within their right. What that does mean is that someone's got to leave. No, they're okay. They just request to swap. I gotcha. All right, looks like maybe 2 more people need to swap over. right, once again, for the side of Wi-Fi button flickers, they're going to keep the same lineup, 3-2-2. And the Lagdom side is now starting to ready up. It will be the Sea of Fortune. It does look like Lagdom is going to switch up their lineup. They're going to go with a 3-2-2 as well. Waiting on Soldado. And he is readied up. We are about to roll into game number 2 of this best of 3. All right. Going into the second game, Wi-Fi button flickers are down 0-1 in this best of 3 series. They need to win this game. This is a must-win for them. Otherwise, they will be done with their tournament journey. Lagdom only has to win one out of the next 2. Represented on the green side, we have Lagdom. And represented on the red side, we have the Wi-Fi button flickers. Traveling on board with RC. We are heading towards the A cap. It does look like it might be a B strategy for the side of the Wi-Fi button flickers, and on the opposite end, an A-B strategy for the side of Lagdom. Both the Alpha cap and the Charlie cap are picked up by both sides, with Wi-Fi button flickers picking up the first cap about 2 seconds before Lagdom does. Schiller's Z46 is approaching the B cap. He is being a little cautious as there is no cover once you are inside that cap. The remaining forces of the Wi-Fi button flickers are approaching A, and they are going to be setting their BB line, and the intent will be to push from A down to C. Looks like there is some sort of an issue as all of Lagdom has left the game. Let's see what's going on. Apparently there was a game crash for the side of Lagdom. So I believe what happens here. I think they just restart the game. Unsure if there are any sort of penalties for that or not, as I have never come across that issue before. Looks like the teams are setting up again. It is kind of unfortunate as both sides essentially have given up what their initial strategy are. Let's see if that changes for the remake. All right, as we get back into game number 2, once again, red side, Wi-Fi button flickers, and on the green side, we will have Lagdom. Both teams are going to be running the 3-2-2 comp, and hopefully we will have no more connection issues. As the teams once again set up for the match. The teams are setting up as they had previously, with the push being towards the A cap. We are on board with Chevo's Z46 as he approaches into C. Seems to be no direct change to how it's being played other than on the opposite side. We have the Z46 of Soldado entering and contesting the A cap. Torps are launched down. Those are unlikely to hit as RC wraps around the rock. Soldado is sitting inside of A, contesting the A cap as Lagdom has picked up Charlie uncontested. Shots down onto Duzzy's Iowa early on, and Soldado gets a returning shot while the main focus is on the Z46. A couple of chip shots at the Donskoy for the side of Lagdom, and this should force the Z46 out, possibly. He is holding on and smoking up. For Bravo Cap, while all of that was taking place, was picked up by Wi-Fi button flickers. Soldado is at half health, and the Lagdom line is returning fire onto Artemis's Kronstrat. The Z46 Soldado launches Torps and gets out of the A cap, and that should be picked up by the Wi-Fi button flickers, and it does. Shells falling all around Z46 as he is able to successfully get out. Shots raining down. The new target is now onto the Donskoy, Black Queen. Black Queen is turning to kite away as B is now being picked up by Chevo's Z46 in a firefight with Schiller. Shells fall short towards the Z46, and the battleship line for Lagdom has finally approached the V-cap. On the side of the Wi-Fi button flickers, their focus is now onto the Missouri for Lagdom, who is backing up. With 4 minutes, 10 seconds in the game, it is currently 54 to 78 in favor of Lagdom. Lagdom focusing down onto the Iowa of Wi-Fi button flickers. Shots are being traded as the Donskoy is the target. Black Queen taken very, very low. And now the Wi-Fi button flickers is starting to push into the A cap with the Missouri backing up. Those shells are falling short as the Donskoy has picked up towards maximum speed. Schiller is RC is attempting to back into B cap, and Soldado is giving fire, and the Donskoy is also supporting. Soldado goes ahead and backs out of B cap, and RC pushes back forward as he has taken several fires. several shots of fire. Schiller's Z46 is sitting outside between B and C, as they are mostly spotting. Z46 takes some damage, loses a turret. Returning shots are onto the Missouri. And the Missouri takes a couple of chip shells. Our Mrs. Kronstadt is maneuvering between the outskirts of C and B behind the rocks. And Edvin is starting to push back forward. Black Queen Stonskoy is wrapping around the Alpha Cap as Valifor's Iowa now takes serious damage. The focus is now onto Valifor, and he potentially could be going down, but he is backing out. With 2 minutes remaining, the score count is 230 to 130, and Wi-Fi button flickers does not appear to be able to contest either the B or C cap, and with that, Lagdom has retained a healthy lead. Lagdom is playing keep away at this point. Schiller's Z46 is attempting to maneuver into the Bravo cap, as Duzzy is being taken down by Black Queen. With 122 remaining, first kills picked up for the side of Lagdom. It is now 7 versus 6 in chip count, and the Bravo cap is being gifted back over as Schiller has to kite out. Shells running down onto the Iowa for the side of Wi-Fi button flickers, and the smoke is preventing line of sight for the side of Lagdom as they are shooting blindly towards the Z46. 48 seconds remaining. And this game does appear to be out of reach. They would need to be able to pick up 2 to 3 kills plus a cap in the next 30 seconds. They will be able to potentially pick up the 2 kills if they can find the Iowa. Black Queen backed into a corner. Argo should be able to pick this kill up as Wi-Fi button flickers does pick up the C cap. Argo does pick up that kill. It is now 6 to 6. Excuse me. Triple G just picks up the Iowa, and that will be the end of the game, as Lagdom will advance to the the elimination round finals. And with that, Wi-Fi button flickers finishes 4th place in the Rule of the Wave 7 tournament